Ooh, another star. Please welcome Cheryl Chandler here with us this morning. Good morning. Please stand as we sing together our opening song entitled Grateful. You know it, and we love the fact that you know it so well. Join us.
I am grateful.
Yes.
Grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. I'm in thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. You might be surprised. I don't look like David Aurelio, do I? Well, he has put me in charge. We have a few, I know. So we have a few announcements to make. First off, David Alt is in New York City this weekend speaking. So David, if I know you're not watching, but when you watch later, we're celebrating you. And David Aurelio is back with his family in Ohio. I just got off the phone with him to make sure everything was okay and let him know we were okay. Now, of course, in David Aurelio fashion, he has left me a 7-page announcement list. So let's get started. We're going to go through very quickly. First off, we are thrilled that you have chosen to spend this weekend with us. So thank you. You are in town, and we're glad that you're here with us. To remind you of what we're all about, we are a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path. And it is our intention to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness, thus allowing you to live the life that you love. Isn't that fascinating? I hear him say that often, and I have to admit, you hear it enough, you just kind of stop listening, but reading it was really powerful. We are a place of here to remind you of who you are. So there's more than just the service that happens. We've got a lot of announcements. To start with, we have Tracy Owens. Come on up to give us an update on the Spiritual Living Institute.
Good morning, everyone. So I want to thank you for allowing me to share with you this morning the 2 upcoming courses for Spiritual Living Institute. And if you don't already know, Spiritual Living Institute is our online education division for Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We provide classes, online human enrichment courses globally. So any person that's willing and interested to take an online course, we have that beautiful platform to provide those teachings for you. I want to tell you about the upcoming courses that start on June the 1st. One is called Taming Your Inner Critic with Juliet Vorster. Juliet she lives in England, and she is so thrilled and so excited to be offering a course to us through Spiritual Living Institute. She says, have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like that committee inside your mind has been working hard all night long? Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps you awaken to worry, stress, anxiety, and fear because your chattering monkey mind has hardly taken a rest during the night. Yeah. Juliet states that after many years of teaching and coaching and mentoring, she has found that some form of the inner critic affects us all. She also tells us that this is a learned behavior and that anything that is learned can be unlearned, and that's great news for us. During this course, you'll learn an understanding of how the brain works specifically in regard to releasing old habits and creating new ones. You'll develop fresh a fresh new awareness and insight regarding the healthy role of the critic, and also an appreciation for where the critic got started. So this course is a 4-week online course beginning on June 1st. And then the second one that I want to tell you about is called The Journey of the Awakened Heart with Jeff Fasano. And so we've got Juliet in England offering a course, and we've got Jeff Fasano in California offering a course. That's a pretty rich invitation, right? We've got some really great stuff out here. So Jeff says about his course, have you reached a point in your life where you are ready, you are open, and you are available to all that can be? Perhaps you are in the same old place in your life and you're experiencing struggle on a daily basis. Would you like to end that struggle and move into greater abundance, deepening your connection with others and living the fulfilled and joyous life you say you want? Jeff says this begins with you. The Journey of the Awakened Heart is a wonderful 4-week transformational process divinely inspired from his book, The Journey of the Awakened Heart, teachings of Archangel Michael that were directly channeled by him. This course provides a roadmap to a new, enjoyable, self-mastered way of life by moving us deeper within our heart to connect with the essence of who we are. So these courses, again, are online, spirituallivinginstitute.org. You can come out to the table after the service and ask me any questions. Register today, and I look forward to seeing you online. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, our next announcement in June is Increase Income Program. How many of you have participated in that before? I know many of you have, I have as well. So this is a time, while abundance is here year-round, here's what we do in June. In June, we focus on it, and we have a program that allows you to open your awareness and consciousness to abundance. All you have to do is pay attention. That's all you have to do, is sign up and pay attention. And so we've got also a booklet, I know I've got it here, that David shared with me. This is a booklet that you'll be getting once you sign up. And this has affirmations for abundance daily, written by our practitioners. It's a great book. I got a chance to read through that this morning. So that will be sign up in the lobby. Next, also Super Soul Summer returns. Daniel, come on up and tell us about Super Soul Summer.
Good morning, everybody. So Super Soul Summer Round 2. Who did that last year in this group? I had just moved here, so I missed it. So I'm doing it this year. So Super Soul Summer, Live, Love, and Learn groups with Reverend David. So this is an 8-week course that is offered as a group experience in someone's home, in a host home, and Reverend David will facilitate that group. It's done online. He signs in with all of you, and then you will all discuss the week's assignment and have the fellowship experience of connecting through Reverend David and through the teachings of the center. The book we're using this year is from Pam Grout called E Squared, 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality. This is it. It's in the bookstore, and Charles will be selling it after service if you want it. I've got a copy. I can't wait to read it. So what we're going to do, for those of you who don't know what this is about, this is our second year. We did it last year. It was a great hit. Folks loved it. And I think what they really loved, as I've learned, is the fellowship and the connecting in someone's home with 8 to 10 of you, connecting, using this as your focal point, but also really living and loving and learning more. So what we're doing today and next week is we're signing up for hosts. So we need people to host in their homes. You did it last year and you enjoyed it. Welcome back. We'll have you back again this year. If you're new to this and you want to learn what hosting is about, essentially it's this. You need a room in your house where it will be undisturbed, where 8 to 10 people can gather. You need a secure, reliable Wi-Fi connection, and you need just really an opportunity to be social and have fellowship with your fellow folks. So more details after service. I'll be out in the area under the awning there. There's a sign-up sheet there, and if you have any questions, you can ask me then. Thanks.
All right. Also, we have the marketing survey. Have you all seen the survey that's come out? I know they've been talking about it for a while. This is our final week on that. We really want to hear from you. So, Lori, come up and tell us what we've got left. I think it's till Tuesday, yes?
Thank you, Chad. And just a note on the announcement that Daniel just made. I had the privilege to host last year, and we had a wonderful group, and our book club is still going almost a year later as a result of that. So it's been fabulous. Survey. Okay, raise your hands. How many of you have heard that we're conducting a survey here at Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta? Okay, so some of you haven't heard yet. How many of you have actually completed the survey? All right, thank you for those of you that already have, and thank you for those that are going to in the next 2 days. As Chad said, the survey will go offline on Tuesday. We also have some paper copies if you want to fill it out today, and since you're in town this weekend, we'd love for you to take time between today or tomorrow being a holiday, for 15 minutes to give us your feedback. It's really important that your voice is represented in this survey. We want to make sure that we know what we're doing well to serve you. This is your community, okay? And as the board and as the staff, we're here to serve you. So we want to know what we're doing well and what we can improve upon, what you would like us to expand, what we can change, and what you absolutely want us to make sure that we continue to keep, because you love it about this place. So please take the time, if you will. It's anonymous. It'll take about 15 minutes to complete, and we'll be sharing results of the survey probably in the July period. The board has a retreat where the board's going to go away for 2.5 days, and one of the primary focuses of that retreat will be the survey results. So please share your voice. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. If you were raised like I was in traditional religion, summer is a time for Vacation Bible School. Do you remember it? Many of you may have gone. I remember making butter in vacation. That's all I remember, was making butter in a mason jar. Well, we have an answer for that. SLC does. It's our SLCA Summer Day Camp. It is for youth ages 7 to 12. It's going to include music, magic, puppets, yoga, mindfulness, cooking, free time, and a community performance from the book Brooksy's Adventure, written by Jean Bell. And the dates for that are Monday through Friday, July 6th through 10th. And right now we're doing early registration discounts, so those are available now. And you can see Penelope. Oh, you've got a map there. Perfect. She's going to be right outside to get you signed up for that. Also, on that note, the youth department needs magazines for a project they're working on. So if you have any magazines you've read but you haven't thrown out, please bring them in. You can bring them in on Sunday or drop them off at the center. Some of you have it. I saw you light up figuring out what to do with those old magazines. All right. You'll also see inside your program the status of our live stream enhancement project. That's where we're going to upgrade our system so that those of you who are viewing live stream will have a better experience. So if you would like to contribute to that, we've got an envelope with a heart love offering. So any money that's put in these envelopes will go directly to that project. So if you'd like to contribute, please do. All right, any first-time visitors? It's a holiday weekend, so I'm expecting we may have some first-time visitors. Thank you. If you don't mind standing up, we have something for you. We've got an empty CD case. I promise we're not cheap. We are giving you an empty CD case, and in that you can exchange it for a real CD at our welcome table, and you'll find that out in the lobby. Thank you for being with us here today. All right. We have also a new member orientation on Sunday, June 7th. So if you haven't been, even those of you who've been here for a while, if you've not been to the new member orientation, I had a great experience when I first started, and it's a great way to learn more about our center. Last two announcements. Meditation from, we don't need that announcement. That was this morning. Never mind, skip that one. Please turn your cell phones off if you don't mind. That would be very helpful so that we can have a peaceful time. You're in for a treat today. I got to see it already, as you know, at the 9:30 service. We have great music and a great talk. So let's get started. First off, if you will stand, you're going to find in your program, on the inside cover, we have our Declaration of Principle, and we'll read this together. I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. It's time for our monthly song, I Claim a Blessing. You'll find it in your program on one of these sheets.
In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. This is how I start my day, knowing good is on the way. I am claiming perfect health, love and laughter, friends and well. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing.
Will you please turn to your neighbors and let them know how much you appreciate them being here today? Listen, I come to the 9:30 service, and I have to say, y'all are a lively bunch. That was exciting. I'm loving this. All right, it is time for our affirmative prayer time, and we have our practitioner, Barbara Call. Come on up.
Thank you. Otherwise known as Scott Baker, who is on vacation today. Hope he's having a great time. Hope he's joining in to watch us. And I can't believe this is Memorial Weekend, y'all. We have a full house. And do you know, this is amazing to me. Do you know that the last 4 years in a row, our center has been voted the most attractive, best spiritual living center in the city of Atlanta? How awesome is that? There is so much great energy here. The past few weeks, we've been talking about imagination. Well, David did the talking and we did the listening, but I think active listening is a kind of talking too. Carl Jung says that it is essential that one participate in active imagination, entering the process of personal reactions as if the drama being enacted before your eyes were real. I've seen in so many books of our teaching references that say the more childlike we can become, the greater our imagination is. So, will you join me for just a minute and a half or two? We're not to prayer yet. This is Let's Pretend. We're going to play for a minute and a half. So here's the story. Here's where I'd like you to go in your imagination. And if you'll think of a creature, I don't know, a horse, a gerbil, a white rat. I had several of those. A monkey, I had one of those too. A warthog, I've seen, and they're very cool. A great connection with some kind of creature, a bird, a fish, a cat, a dog. But for this minute, let's make it a dog. So if I cry, I will say, because we talk, is it okay for practitioners to cry? And I say, It's okay for practitioners to be authentic and to bring ourselves fully to you, and that's what I do today. But I hope I don't cry. And besides this, we're playing. Just this side of the great beyond, or the very near, is a place called Rainbow Bridge. Whoa, this is harder than I thought. Okay. When an animal, and I practiced this so many times so that I wouldn't be emotional when I came in. When an animal dies that has been especially close to someone here, that pet goes to Rainbow Bridge. There are meadows and hills for all of our special friends so that they can run and play together. There is plenty of food, water, and sunshine, and our friends are warm and comfortable. All the animals that had been ill and old are restored to health and vigor. Those who were hurt or maimed are made whole and strong again, just as we remember them in our dreams of days and times gone by. The animals are happy and content, except for one small thing. They each miss someone very special to them who had to be left behind. They all run and play together, but the day comes when one suddenly stops and looks into the distance. His bright eyes are intent, his eager body quivers. Suddenly he begins to run from the group, flying over the green grass, his legs carrying him faster and faster. You have been spotted. And when you and your special friend finally meet, you cling together in joyous reunion, never to be parted again. The happy kisses rain upon your face, your hands again caress the beloved head, and you look once more into the trusting eyes of your pet, so long gone from your life, but never absent from your heart. Then you cross the Rainbow Bridge together. Is this a true story? I don't know. I don't know that our teaching says anything about animals. It certainly isn't a big topic. But you see, in imagination, it doesn't matter what's true. Imagination is healing. My dog Tanner, at 16 and a half years, died this week. And this reading has brought great healing to me and helped set me free and know that we are both exactly where we need to be. So, maybe we'll play Make Pretend again another time, and I'll have a more fun topic for us to go to together, not Debbie Downer. Okay, so if you're ready, let's go into that contemplative space together. Take a few deep breaths. Breathe in all that Source is offering you today. Breathe in all your emotions. Breathe in all the goodness of this moment. Breathe in all that this moment is. And I speak this prayer, this treatment, in the first person, but I invite you to treat it as your own. So here's what I know. There is one first cause of all things, one divine source, source of all emotions, source of all life, source of all creativity, source of our imagination, my imagination. Infinite wisdom, radiant light, comfort, pure, unconditional love and support. Creator brings a knowing that all is well, that anything that seems empty is just an illusion, that all I need to do is claim that connection. And I am full and whole and complete, even in this moment. I know that this source manifests through me as me. And this is what I know about imagination and creativity. Creativity, the creative faculty, it is the creative faculty of imagination. In a state of imagination, we get to the deepest spot of connection with Source. We rely on things that are unseen but known so much to be true that it doesn't even need to be said. It is all available to me right now. And I can imagine all things. I can play make-believe as often as I want to. I can tell myself sad stories that may or may not be true. I can use all the tools that are available to me in this teaching to bring healing and hope. I know that affirmation creates creativity because it opens that space. I know that I am in that space. The space is filled. And imagination surrounds me like a warm blanket. I give thanks for knowing how wonderful this is, how wonderful that we can play make-believe and be as we were as children. How wonderful this teaching that allows us to be wherever we are in life, whatever we're feeling. I am so thankful for the support that I feel all the time through the center, and the support that I've gotten from electronically in the past week. My gratitude envelops me, and that gratitude brings me closer in alignment with Spirit. And in gratitude, we are one. I am so thankful to know that. I am so thankful that the emptiness gets to be taken away, and all that's left is joy and freedom and light. I am grateful for these words. I release these words, knowing that all is well, all is good, all is very good. And as I release, please help me anchor these words by saying, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a
Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Morning sun coming through the trees, and the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze. The songbirds singing to the honeybee, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. After the dazzle of the day is done, and the moon makes love to the setting sun, stars come twinkling one by one, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We sleep in dreams both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the spirit's delight, living in the heart of God. Join us. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. Yeah, Cheryl Chandler. I got a new buddy now. Yeah. I think we're sisters. Thank you so much, Cheryl and the band. Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. All right, it is my honor to introduce who's speaking today. This is, many of you may know her, Reverend Avon Drummond. She's been in Science of Mind or New Thought since 1980. I didn't get a bio on her, which is great. David, thank you. I get to speak from the heart. So I'm going to tell you what I love about Avon. There are a couple of things that came to mind when I was thinking about introducing her this morning. One, she's a financial coach, and one of the things that she taught me, I got to work with her last year, and the teachings here teach us this, and she helped remind me that what I believe shows up as my experience. And so she was helping me last year wonderfully with money as I realized all the lessons I'd learned from my parents were showing up in my existence. Even when it wasn't true, it felt that way. Does that make sense to you? So she taught me to think differently, and I thank you for that. Also, 2 years ago, she officiated when my husband and I got married on June 2nd, so thank you for that. So she's very special to me, and I'm so grateful to introduce Reverend Avon Drummond. Thank you, Avon.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to open the water this time. Last time I forgot, and then it's like thirsty, right? So thank you. I always find it an honor to be here, and I don't take it for granted. I know some of you were probably expecting Lane Morgan today, probably because she was going to talk about hell, but but she's sick, and so we're going to send her love. Love you, Lane. Love you, Lane. And so you got me today. And so, thank you. And, I told David, Reverend David, I said, if we bring hell back, then, our attendance will be, and look. Okay? So, and really, this is not a bait and switch, okay? I promise, okay? So, anyway, the title of my talk today is actually in the form of a question. And that question is, what is your story? Okay? Now, some of you, especially if you're like old school like me, when somebody said, why are you telling a story? What did that mean? You're telling a lie, right? And so, but this is not what we're talking about today. I mean, yes, a story is kind of a lie. It's kind of fictional. But this time we're going to talk about it not in the negative sense. Because actually, by the time you leave here, I want you to claim being able to tell a story. And so with that said, I remember when my youngest son, Casey, was about 4 years old, and he came to me crying because Michael's grandmother told him, you need to stop telling stories. And what a 4-year-old mind thinks about is a story is a book that you open, that you read, and you have a plot, and you have a character, and a happy ending. And so he knew that he hadn't done that, so he couldn't understand it. So years later, we got to laugh about that. But I ask you because I want you to see yourself telling stories. I want not you, the one that's sitting in the chair. I want the you, the expanded you, the God you. I want you to think about yourself like an award-winning author. And I'm going to expand on that a little later. So what do we do here every week when we come here? Week after week, we have the opportunity to recite the beautiful Declaration of Principle. It's something that we subscribe to and we use it as the basis of our living. And so it says, I believe in one power, one God, one power, one absolute substance. In fact, read it with me, just the first two sentences. Believe in one God, one absolute power, first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of an desire to express love. Okay? And even if you came from the more traditional teaching, the whole idea about there being one God, one power, and we're part of that, even in traditional, they talk about God is omnipresent, which is God is everywhere. They talk about God is all-powerful or omnipotent. And they also talk about God is omniscient, which God knows everything. So what that says is that me, this body, this persona, this person named Avon, and the thoughts that appear in my head and the feelings that move through me and the energy that moves through me and even the upsets and the illnesses, all of that is God. And so sometimes in our everyday life, even though in this teaching we're taught that, but what really comes out with what we're thinking and what we're believing comes in our conversation and in our dialogue. So we might find ourselves saying something like, well, this disease or that challenge, I wish God would come. Or it doesn't even have to be negative. It could be something like something good showed up, and you might say something like, God was in that situation, or God was there. In fact, sometimes when I get upset with my husband, I say, you need Jesus, okay? And so it seems like we're constantly looking and searching for God. It looks like we're constantly trying to find some power, some technique, something that's going to make our life easier, make us be able to navigate through life a little bit easier, something to fill us. And ultimately, when we keep doing that, we still find ourselves disempowered. We find ourselves disempowered because we breathe, like Penelope was, that song, in the heart of God. So it's not out there, okay? And if we say that God or source or whatever you want to call it, divine principle, divine intelligence is all there is, and if we say that we are here or that we exist, then we have to be included in that equation. And we have to accept the fact that not only are we eternal beings, but we are equal in all that we see. We are the face of God. We are what we have been looking for. So I invite you to consider a greater, a broader, a truthful perspective. And that perspective is going to call for us to embrace the idea that everything is occurring to support us. So instead of becoming frustrated and victimized when a challenge shows up or that terrible thing happened, we're going to find our freedom when we only see the blessing in all of it. A lofty ideal? Maybe. It naturally begs the question, how? We'll come to that. So I bet some of you in this room like to go to movies. Yeah? Yeah? Why? Because you get to identify with the character, right? You get to have the ups when they're up, and you get to have the downs when they're down, and you cry and you sad, but you don't run out of the theater, right? You just absorb it and you enjoy it and you leave and you say, wow, that was a good movie. And some of you like novels or screenplays. You like getting absorbed in the book, can't wait to turn the page. Sometimes some of you skip to the back. You want to see what happens next, right? And again, you get absorbed in the character, you love what's going on, you feel good, you tell your friends, that's a good book. And then some of you just make stuff up. So, I came across a really fascinating book called The Hero's Two Journeys. And the author of the book is a brilliant person who has a very systematic way of how all blockbuster movies and award-winning novels are written. So it's by Michael Hauge, I think I'm pronouncing it right, H-A-U-G-E, and Christopher Vogler. And they talk about how an incredible or fantastic movie is structured. And he says that there are elements in the story that must be in there in order for the audience to embrace it. And he says that through writing a successful Hollywood movie, it sounds like it's easy, but the stories for mainstream Hollywood films are all built on three basic components. And those are character, desire, and conflict. Kind of sound like our life, doesn't it? So the stories always portray a hero who we have come to like, and that hero must face an insurmountable obstacle as they pursue a visible goal. He says the story consists of 6 basic stages, and those stages are defined by 5 key turning points in the plot. And they always occupy the same position and the same kind of time in the movie. Now he calls the first day. And so before we start that, what I want you to do is I want you to bring to mind your favorite movie or play or novel, and the rest of you who make things up, pull one of those up. And so what he says is the first stage is called the setup, okay? And the setup is where you get to learn who the character is. You get to identify with them. You get to see how they live their life day to day. You get to decide if they're, always threatened by something, or if they are funny, or if they're silly, or whatever the case may be. And so something about them, you begin to identify yourself with them. In fact, if you've ever watched the movie Castaway, it talks about the character in there works for FedEx. And so now you get to kind of see what the life of a FedEx executive is. And then you learn that he's got to go on a trip, and he's got to catch a plane, and it's during Christmas. He has to leave his family, and he's got to go into a storm. So that's what I mean by setup. There's always a beginning where we kind of get sucked into the movie. And then comes the first turning point. He calls the first turning point an opportunity. It's about 10% 10% into the screenplay. Your hero must now be presented with what's called an opportunity. And what this does, it creates a new desire, okay? And now the character is going to start officially on their journey. This is not going to be the overall specific goal that defines the story, but it's going to be, what's going to define the concept of the movie. And what that opportunity does is it sets it up for the new situation, okay? So something happens, and it's like, oh, I better think about this, right? So now he's in a new situation. So it's about 15% in the story, the hero will react to a new situation, which resulted from the opportunity. So he gets acclimated to this new situation, the new surroundings. He tries to figure out what's going on. He formulates a plan for being able to reach the overall goal. And just when he gets that going good, now comes the turning point again. Change of plans. Something upsets the apple cart. Something happens to the hero that's in the screenplay that's going to transform the original desire into a specific visible goal with a clearly defined point. This is the scene where your story concept is defined and your hero's outer motivation is revealed. Now, he talks about outer motivation, okay? And all of us can identify with that. We have something that we're going for. It might be a career, it might be a relationship, it might be amount of money. But when you have your energies focused on an outer goal, what happens is all the inner stuff starts coming up, right? This is when you start to, up until this point, you're just kind of going along and things are good. But once you actually put your laser beams on a goal, then all that internal stuff comes up. It might look like something that happened in your childhood and you're carrying some wounds around it, or it might be some fear. It might be courage that has to happen. Somewhere there's an inner journey. So now these two things together is what makes the movie or the story captivating. And that moves you in, or that moves your hero into the third stage, which he calls progress. So now the hero's plan seems to be working, and even though he's got a routine going on, there's still some conflict in there, but he's able to handle it. He's able to get through it. Until now comes the third point, which is the point of no return. Now you're about halfway into the movie or the book, and now you find that your hero has got to make a critical decision. Here's where he has to decide whether or not he's going to put his stakes in the ground. He's come too far right now. He's put too much energy into it. Metaphorically, he's burned the bridges behind him. So now that your hero has crossed over to a point of no return, now you enter into stage 4, which is complications and higher stakes. Now your story is about 25% part of the movie. Achieving the visible goal becomes far more difficult, and your hero has much more to lose if he fails. This conflict continues to build until just as it seems that success is within your hero's reach, he suffers. He suffers a major setback. This is called turning point 4. Something major has thrown a wrench in his plan, and it leaves your hero with only one option. He must make one last all-or-nothing, do-or-die effort as he enters the final push. He feels like he's been beat up by life pretty bad, but he still finds strength and courage to achieve his ultimate goal. The conflict seems overwhelming. Everything is working against your hero until yet another turning point occurs, but this is called the climax. This is where you're sitting on the edge of your chair. You can't put your book down, you're reading all night because you got to see what happens. So this is toward the end. A lot's going on. The climax is that the hero is now facing the biggest obstacle of the entire story. In order for that outer motivation to be resolved once and for all, he's got to make a critical decision, and this decision is determining his or her fate. Then you go to the last stage, which is stage 6. It's called the aftermath, okay? The movie never ends with the hero meeting the objective. The movie continues because now there's some settling or some kind of getting in the groove that has to happen. And sometimes in movies or books, this is where they set it up for the next sequel, okay? We absolutely love that, right? We love, being intense and, wondering what's happening and just kind of on the edge of our seat. We love to follow the inner journey and the outer journey of a life. We love it when it's out there on the screen or off the blank pages. But what keeps us from loving it when it's in us? The answer to that question, the perspective that question provides, is what will begin to set us free. It's one word, one letter. How we see, how we use it, how we think of it. It's the letter I. Let's replay those steps, but instead of your hero, your famous movie, or your story, let's look at your hero character, you. What was the first major turning point for you? What opportunity were you presented with that started you on your journey? Did you go to school? Did you go to college? Did you get married? Did you find a career? What was it that started you on your journey? What was your stage 2? Your new situation. Did you get pregnant? Did you drop out of school? Did you flunk out of school? What kind of situation did you find yourself in that you had to readjust? And then what was your second turning point? What was your change in plans? What was it that threw a monkey wrench in your plans? Is this where you start realizing the inner chaos in you, your wound from childhood or some fear of some kind? Was there something that happened that called for more courage? For me, I set aside my entire degree in microbiology to do childcare from one comment that occurred at a Christmas party. As we were all sitting around this wonderful Christmas party, this was in San Diego, we were all talking about a cruise that we had signed up for in the next spring. And out of the blue, my supervisor said, across the room in front of everybody, "I did not give you permission to go on a cruise." That changed everything. That changed everything for me. In a few months, I ended up leaving, quitting that job, and starting a daycare. And then I was in stage 3, progress. So think about your stage 3. This is where your plan seems to be working. You take action to achieve your goal. So I had been running around making flyers and telling people and talking to people, and people say, "Yes, I'm going to bring little Johnny over." Okay. But whatever obstacles you face, you find that you can either avoid or you can find that you can either avoid or overcome them as you approach your turning point number 3, which is the point of no return. Now, I got to tell you, on the first day that I opened my daycare, this is after I quit my job, which paid for our mortgage. I had 2 kids. I had nobody show up. So that's what happens. Halfway in there, there's something you must fully commit to, and if you do, there is no turning back, no going back to the life that you lived. So I found myself in complications and higher stakes. For the rest of your story, achieving the visible goal becomes far more difficult than you expected. And here you have much more to lose if you fail. So just as it seems success is near, because eventually some children started coming, you suffer another major setback. And this is your 4th turning point. It's called the major setback. You may find yourself dealing with some major event. It could be a business failure, a death in the family, or a breakup. Somehow you find, or if you haven't already, you find a point where you have to kind of muster up some courage for stage 5, which is called the final push. You might find that you felt beat up from life. It might seem that you're having to risk everything. But you will reach the turning point, number 5, the climax. And then the aftermath. If you look closely, you will see that your life actually follows this path in some form or fashion. And you also have sequels. One chapter ends and another one begins. Now, when I started this talk, I invited you to consider a greater, a broader, a more expansive truth or perspective. And I told you that this perspective is going to call for you to embrace the idea that everything that is occurring in your life, whether you call it good or bad, is in support of you. Then I went on to talk about the inner journey and the outer journey of life. We love it on the big screen, but what keeps us from loving it within ourselves? And I said the answer to that question, the perspective that that question provides, is what will begin to set you free. It's the one word, the one letter, I. How do I see myself? How do I use that word in conversation? How do we use I? So I invite you to consider a fact. The fact is that God, Source, infinite intelligence, is writing your story. And you, as the co-creator with God, are the hero in that story. What you see, what you observe, is all happening the way it's supposed to. When you are moving through life, just stand back, stand way back, and look in that position and draw yourself to that part of you that is developing the story. Just like an author, a screenplay writer, feel the appreciation and accomplishment that every award-winning author feels. The you that is living the story is the character, is the hero. So now I'm going to show you how to bring that perfection to your situation. I want you to bring your mind to that part of your story in your last sequel that you call your setback. I want you to sit back in your chair, way back, and in your mind, I want you to imagine that you have accepted the title of world-class author or accomplished screenplay writer. Now, once you get that image, I want you to turn to the person next to you, not yet, and I want you to say these words: I orchestrated that event beautifully for my hero, and then I want you to put your name in it, and see how that feels, okay? So if you got that image, turn to the person next to you and say, I orchestrated that event beautifully for my hero. Okay. So I think you kind of took on that role. That's the end of the play, okay? Okay. What I want to point out here is that the quicker that you can see yourself from this perspective is the quicker that you can turn the page and allow your story to unfold. You are now the co-author, reveling in the perfect unfolding of the story that you created. You are no longer the victim, and as you read your story, you feel the root of the hero. You root for the hero, and you say, "Job well done." You know the making of a great story requires character, desire, and what? Conflict. You know that after every setback is the preparation for a climax, and your hero is victorious. And then you just get ready for the next sequel. I find tremendous freedom in doing this. When you can actually say that your perception and your perspective are perfect, you are free. And this is the truth in my life. And let this be the truth in yours. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So now we come to that point in our service where we have grateful giving. And I'm going to ask my friend, Mark Berkey, to come up and say something grateful and lead us in our affirmation. Thank you, Mark.
I literally have found myself sitting in meetings recently, wondering if people are seeing the tears of gratitude welling up in my eyes. And when I look at how I had heard about SLCA for quite a while, and I remember specifically I showed up here on October 24th of 2010. And a few weeks before, I had a good friend pass away. 4 days before, I had best friend from high school pass away. And then 3 days later, later that week, my best friend on the planet passed away. And for those of you who were around in 2010, David Alt was new, and he was hosting potlucks at his house. So as I sat in my office that day, I thought, okay, I could go have a pity party or show up into a house full of strangers. And little did I know the path that it was leading me down. And 2 years later, I hit my rock bottom. And I remember it was again in October of 12, October 29th of 12. And I think, Avon, was it right after that you started the first Mary Morrissey Prosperity Plus?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there was something that struck me when Mary Morrissey talked about tithing. I remember doing it in my early 20s, but it was always the undertow of getting something back. And when Mary Morrissey talked about tithing, it struck me differently in that it was paying it forward. That at the time when it was said, people who were sharing their stories about tithing had said they can't wait as soon as they get a check in to get the tithe made. And that's the place where I am at this point. And I will tell you, from that rock bottom of 12 to where I am today, just the gratitude for that. And I offer that to just whatever is there, whatever little spark of gratitude, no matter what you may have gone through or what you are going through or may go through, if you can look for one little piece of gratitude, it has made a huge difference. So thank you for bringing Mary Morrissey's Prosperity Plus. And inside your program, let's read together the affirmation for grateful giving. I live in a universe of abundance, As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Thank you so much, Mark. Swing by the doors, the time is right. Swing by the doors to let in the light, bringing the dawn for humankind. Swing by the doors of this heart of mine. Swing by the doors, the time is right. Swing by the doors to let in the light, bringing the dawn for humankind. Swing by the doors, this heart of mine. All right. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light, bringing the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light, bringing the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light, bringing the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Penelope Williams and the band, they give it up. Yeah, that's a lot of words.
And I think I neglected to say thank you for all of you service men and women that have protected our company. This is the weekend where we honor and celebrate that, and anybody that has passed in your life or made that transition or gone home, you know, just know that you're in our hearts. So this is the time of the service where I just want to reflect on what we were talking about, and that is that, you know, your life, you're the author. You're the co-creator. And we have a number, I think it was, the last count was 30, 40, how many practitioners? A lot of practitioners that went through a lot of training to really ground that and understand that and get that for you. So if you find that you are moving in that stage of your life where you have a setback, or if you find that you're at the climax of your life and you just want some assurance, you know, that's what the practitioner is for. And so I think it's incredible that that we can allow or make available practitioners to sit with you after and just help you get to that place where you realize the truth of it all. So I'm going to ask the practitioners to come up front, please.
Would you please stand as we sing together our closing song entitled, I Am So Blessed. Yes. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.